Let's talk about narcolepsy and hallucinations. Hallucinations are one of the 5 major symptoms of narcolepsy. And because of this, when presented with an undiagnosed narcoleptic patient, doctors will frequently assume that they have schizophrenia or some other form of psychosis and then prescribe antipsychotics. And those antipsychotics don't do jack shit except make the patient sleepier because narcolepsy hallucinations do not work the same as other types of hallucinations. Now, in order to understand how narcolepsy hallucinations work, you need to know 2 things. 1, when going to sleep and waking up, our brains go through phases called hypnagogia and hypnopompia. Hypnagogia is the phase between being awake and being asleep, and hypnopompia is the phase between being asleep and being awake. During these periods, people, not just narcoleptics, may experience things like hypnic jerks, like when you're falling and all of a sudden you're like, ugh, or sleep paralysis demons. I always feel like hypnagogia is when you see the Hat Man, and hypnopompia is when you see the chest gargoyles or the succubuses. And like I said, anybody can experience these kinds of hypnagogic or hypnopompic hallucinations. And now the second thing you need to understand is that the defining characteristic of narcolepsy makes you unable to regulate your sleep-wake cycles. And while I've said before, people with narcolepsy aren't just like falling asleep in their soup, that is a common misconception perpetuated by the media, we do often go through things called microsleeps. Also known as sleep intrusions, these brief periods of sleep only last a few seconds and occur while you are wide awake and just doing your daily stuff. And this is how narcolepsy hallucinations often get confused by medical professionals for psychosis. Because it doesn't just go, I'm awake, I'm asleep, I'm awake. It goes, I'm awake, I'm in a hypnagogic state, I'm asleep, I'm in a hypnopompic state, I'm awake again. And in those hypnagogic and hypnopompic states are when the hallucinations appear. And so to the world, and even the narcoleptic themselves, if they are not diagnosed and don't know what's going on, it can seem like somebody is just having a random hallucination. Now, the kinds of narcolepsy hallucinations can vary, but they tend to be more visual or tactile rather than auditory. Things like spiders, snakes, shadow people, the feelings of somebody stepping on your shoulders or your chest or your back, or like rubbing your face. Things that tend to be very common sleep paralysis nightmares also tend to be very common narcolepsy hallucinations, because they are the same thing, minus the sleep paralysis most of the time. Narcolepsy hallucinations can even cause you to hallucinate smells and tastes. Like I will regularly hallucinate the smell of centipedes and the taste of ants, which is weirdly specific. But yeah, there you go. I hope that clears things up.